Next up on Fintech in 2021, we have a keynote talk by Liutauras, and he is investment advisor for technology at Invest in Lithuania. He's advising fintech companies looking to scale and license across Europe. The talk is entitled "The Success Story Behind the Growth of Lithuania's Fintech Ecosystem and Where Do We Go From Here?" Liutauras, how you doing, mate? Good to see you this morning.
Pretty well. I'm liking this graphic over here.
Okay, looking very nice.
Yeah. It's, giving some great positive vibes and pumping me up for the talk.
Lovely. All right, well, take it away.
Good afternoon to everyone tuning into Fintech in conference. Great to have it back up, and kudos to the organizers for figuring out the virtual format in these still quite challenging times. Hopefully next year we can all meet in person for a truly live event. If 2020 could be called a year of challenge, stasis, and reorganization, then 2021 is a year of rebirth and hypergrowth. We as an organization, and I think all of you would agree as well, that we're all witnessing an unprecedented amount of economic and business activity across the board, but especially in the tech sector. Companies have been hiring at a record pace, investment rounds have reached all-time highs, and it seems everything, everywhere, is heating up. So, with all of that's been going on, it's easy to get lost in the process and forget where we were as an ecosystem and as a country just a few years ago. What I want to reflect on today is how Lithuania's fintech ecosystem came to be, mainly through the perspective of foreign companies' growth, as that is our area of expertise as an organization, and appreciate the true miracle that unfolded in those years. I'll also overview the success stories of foreign companies establishing in Lithuania, the value proposition that landed them here, and I'll also look at some of the future trends that we might be headed towards in the future. So, the story of Lithuania's fintech ecosystem began in 2016, when the fintech strategy was confirmed by the Bank of Lithuania, the Finance Ministry, and other governmental institutions. It was a great example of institutional cooperation and what can actually be achieved when governmental bodies align and work together towards a common goal. Up until that point, finance in Lithuania comprised primarily of legacy banking institutions, which lacked competition from startups and challenger banks. One of the early companies in our young ecosystem was Revel Systems, a POS provider from the United States, which started their technology office in Vilnius. In the coming year, newcomers program was introduced by the Bank of Lithuania to help up-and-coming financial technology companies evaluate their licensing potential and become participants in financial markets. With this new initiative, companies such as Israeli Simplex, Shift Payments, and you came into our ecosystem. The following year, we saw a true innovation in our country and across the European Union. The first specialized banking license was issued to Revolut, and they began operations as a bank in Lithuania. Now, the following year, LB Chain regulatory sandbox was announced, where companies could test their novel and innovative solutions in a regulated environment. The year also welcomed SumUp, Flywire, and others to join our fintech ecosystem. Finally, last year, the Center of Anti-Money Laundering was established and launched, which provided expertise and guidance on AML matters. The year also saw Curve and Mambu, both quite well-known brands and unicorns, land in Lithuania. And now I'm very happy to say that this year we also have a great addition to our fintech ecosystem. A fintech unicorn, Australian one. We had not had those before in our country before. Airwallex have established in Vilnius and just recently got their electronic money institution license in Lithuania. So as you can see, it was truly a hyperbolic growth in terms of quantity of companies, but also in terms of quality, which with much more and more unicorns finding Lithuania as a place to do operations and business. Now, so all this work on cooperation led to immense growth. Right now, the fintech sector in Lithuania, which might be surprising to some, is the largest in the EU by the number of licenses issued. We're currently numbering over 230 fintech companies in Lithuania, operating with a variety of business models. Currently, most are focused on payments and remittance, but we envision the sector to diversify in the future, with a growing number of companies providing core banking solutions, open banking providers, digital banks, lending companies, and crowdfunding platform operators. But why do fintechs choose Lithuania? So each year we run an ecosystem survey where we ask companies directly why they choose Lithuania for their expansion. In our last year's survey, and we will run one this year, so stay tuned for the questionnaires as usual. So the last survey portrayed the fintech-friendly regulation and infrastructure as one of the key and most important factors, together with Lithuania's ability to adapt to business needs, as the key and main reason to arrive here and establish here. It was then followed by the talent pool availability, and namely, which is less saturated than in other countries, especially in our Western counterparts. Personal relations also play an important role, and we are delighted to see that in a small country such as ours, a close-knit fintech community is always welcome and open to newcomers. It is especially apparent to us as Invest Lithuania when we ask companies from abroad to come and visit Lithuania, and when we explain to them that companies located here actually are quite open to have them visit their offices to discuss how they scaled in Lithuania, they're always very surprised that, that they do not view them as potential competitors, but stakeholders in this broad ecosystem. Now, finally, target client market is an important factor as well. Despite Lithuania being a small country, it provides a great market for new participants to successfully test and launch their products. It's much easier for them to access the customers, and they also benefit from the growing fintech hub by forging partnerships with peer and other companies. Now, I want to focus on this aspect of partnerships. Just a few weeks back, we were at Money 2020 conference in Amsterdam. And one of the things that I remember the most from the conference is actually the foreign companies that came to our booth. Why were they interested in Lithuania? Of course, regulation, licensing, talent pool were the key themes, but I think a new and emerging theme and reason why the companies look to Lithuania is actually the ecosystem and the hub that has developed. They see it as an exciting place to be, to forge partnerships, do business, and strike deals. So I envision this to be also a key moving factor in the future, where our ecosystem scales throughout Europe in terms of business sense and interlinks more with other fintech hubs in Europe. Now, of course, to power this ecosystem requires people. And I'm confident to say that one of Lithuania's strengths is educated and driven talent. We have now over 42,000 ICT specialists, and we estimate that the fintech sector right now has over 5,000 employees, with a headcount continuously projected to grow. So we're blessed to have our own language, but we must admit that it is still a little used outside of Lithuania. So we naturally start learning foreign languages at an early stage. As a result, half of our population speaks at least 2 foreign languages, with English being the most popular. And illustrating that, is the statistics of 85% young professionals that are fluent in English. And Russian, German, and Scandinavian languages follow as the second most popular choices. So you can imagine this being a great asset for international companies that can hire multilingual talent here. And one of the most striking examples, I think, would be Western Union, who of course are a very large center. However, I believe they serve and operate with, I think, 30 different languages. Now we understand that IT sector is very competitive everywhere, including in Lithuania. And together with the current growth, we need to ensure a strong pipeline of IT specialists entering the job market. Thus, Lithuania has one of the most educated talent in Europe, with about 55% of adult population having higher education. And specifically, higher education in IT is very popular and continuously growing in popularity. So, to illustrate that, we currently have more than 13,000 junior students in IT-related studies, and additional 2,500 junior developers retrained by private academies annually. A really great initiative showcasing how the private market can also step in to alleviate that demand. So the talent pool is further increased by Lithuanian diaspora returning to the country and foreigners that are relocating to Lithuania at an increasing pace. And actually, on that last note, I'll elaborate a bit later, but there is some exciting developments going on. So now let's dig into some of the success stories of the companies who have expanded into Lithuania. Starting with Fintechs, we're very glad to be able to host companies such as these in our ecosystem. And what I want to highlight is that each of them, with the exception of SumUp, yet, have significant product development and engineering in their Lithuanian operations. Of course, in addition to their license activities. Of particular note, I think here is Mambu, who is a quite recent newcomer in Lithuania. However, they managed to scale quite impressively already to 83 people. And knowing that it's mostly senior product-focused engineers, it's quite an achievement and showcases what a robust talent market can provide in just over a year. And of course, it would not be a talk about success stories if we did not mention Revolut. So, in terms of valuation right now, second only to Klarna, we can actually trace Revolut's back to Lithuania. In 2017, Lithuania was their third largest market in terms of consumers, and actually Vilnius was used as a test bed for their wide suite of products. What followed was a rapid expansion across all functions in their Lithuanian office. And right now, over 230 employees, they operate their banking and payment licenses from Lithuania, serving customers all across EU. And now for the tea leaf reading part of the keynote. What does the future hold, and where do we grow from here? So, while we're very happy to have come this far and have built out a great ecosystem, we see a few key developments. So for the fintech side of things, we envision crowdfunding to be a particularly hot topic in the future. And this is due to a few key reasons. The main catalyst is the new European crowdfunding legislation coming into effect this November. And so long story short, the new regulation will harmonize crowdfunding across EU. And similarly to how PSD2 directive harmonized payments. So just to put into an example, a crowdfunding platform operator established in Lithuania will be able to passport their license and export their services to the whole of the European Union, a trading bloc of a population over 500 million. And so, while of course we must admit, while nowhere near the size of the payments market, there is an immense potential for growth in the crowdfunding sector. And recognizing this, the Bank of Lithuania has already taken action. In the past few years, they have already adopted the crowdfunding platform operator regulation in Lithuania to already suit the new European one. Taking this into account, the licensing procedures in Lithuania with crowdfunding are smooth, fast, and efficient. And with the Bank of Lithuania's know-how and cooperative approach, we envision the crowdfunding to be the next booming sector. And of course, we'll also seeing other possibilities where we can grow. Wealth tech and insurtech sectors are of particular interest. So right now we have payments, remittance, we do have some credit market activity in Lithuania. However, why not wealth management funds? Or why not innovative wealth tech financial brokerage companies? I think we can strive to be a more diverse hub, focusing on a much wider array of activities. And together with the Bank of Lithuania and other stakeholders, we are developing a deep value proposition for those sectors. And so another exciting development spearheaded by the Lithuanian government is called collective relocation. It is a program aimed at attracting innovative companies looking to relocate to European Union with an aim to create high value-added job places. So collective relocation is a highly beneficial procedure for both company and its employees, shareholders, and their family members. It creates an opportunity to relocate multiple people at the same time under a simplified migration procedure. So without the same time under that normal procedures would require. So this, together with other incentives that are currently in development in our ministries, is a part of a grand strategy of positioning Lithuania as a global hub for talent. As we understand that to scale exponentially, we need to look globally. And we actually are already getting some fruits of our labor. There's been an immense increase of relocations from Belarus, and a new IT talent stream is pouring into Lithuania, together actually with whole companies. One of the greatest examples, I think, that you almost know is wargaming.net, the producer of widely popular and successful game World of Tanks, which positions Vilnius as the regional hub of talent. So to sum up, we're a young, vibrant, and ambitious ecosystem, full of potential and drive. The road up until this point was not accidental. It was a laser-focused initiative by state and private actors alike. But we're not yet content with what we achieved. We'll pursue new sectors and grow current ones. And just to finish off, here is a collection of some of the well-known brands in Lithuania that have successfully set up and are operating from Lithuania for the reasons I mentioned before, and that are a testament to our ecosystem. So it really is an exciting and thriving community. And actually, as Jared Isaacman, the CEO of Shift4Payments, noted after his visit to Vilnius, this city is a small version of Silicon Valley. And well, if that's not a testament to the tech ecosystem coming from a person just casually flying fighter jets and going to space, well then I don't know what would be. So if you're looking for exciting new horizons for your fintech company, Lithuania would definitely love to help. So feel free, get in touch.
Liutauras, thank you very much for that talk. Look, it was a good pitch. I'm sold on Lithuania. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Great. Let's start a fintech.
Let's take the other angle. Talk a little bit about what are the challenges that Lithuania has faced over this period, and how have you come, or are you still attempting to and still working on overcoming them?
Well, I think just like any other tech hub and market in Europe, I think talent is potentially a challenge for some companies. We see a trend now that they have to do much more just to attract the best skill set there are. But it's also a way for companies to grow and also for employees to find new challenges as well. We see a lot of mobility. It's a challenge for some, but opportunity for others.
Are you seeing, when you're talking about bringing talent into Lithuania, are you seeing it as like independent people and resources and talent coming in on their own and then looking around at what's available, or is it companies establishing and then bringing in their people here?
Actually, we like it both ways. So for individual people, there's blue card procedures that grant permanent residence in the EU. And we actually, Lithuania is leading in this regard, issuing the most of them for highly skilled people, but collective relocation for companies as a whole. And we see these projects happening at an increasing pace as well. So we welcome all individual people, skill sets, and companies to come to Lithuania.
Okay, very nice. Liutauras, thank you very much for your talk today. Thank you.